Joining me now, the amazing Megyn Kelly, journalist. Everybody watches, listens to her show on Sirius XM. And I guess I have to introduce her as MK Media's Megyn Kelly. Megyn, what's MK Media?
We are expanding and bringing other podcasts into the MK fold. And by that, I mean we're going to help other podcasters make it in this lane. We are starting with 3 shows that we're going to help promote and help produce and just try to get some more sane voices out there, Jesse. As you know, they're few and far between.
There are few and far between. And I'm glad actually you're doing it very much because I tell people all the time that you should start a podcast. You know, people will complain about this guy or that guy or Megyn Kelly or me or something like that. And I say, start one. Everyone should. Maybe you have something interesting to say. Maybe you don't, but you don't know till you try.
I totally agree with that. And so my feeling, having been doing it now for 5 years, is it actually is trickier than it looks to make it hit, you know, to like grow. It really is. And so if we see somebody who we think is really talented or whose voice we think should be amplified, we'll have them on the show. Like you don't need our help, but we loved talking to you. But there are people who don't have your platform and, you know, your experience doing this. And so we're kind of looking for people like that who need some help, like boosting their show off the ground. And we struck a deal with 3 providers or podcasters who we think are very diverse and like where they're going to come into this world from. So I think you'll love it. You're going to like these shows.
I have no doubt. Everything Megyn Kelly touches turns to gold anyway. All right, Megyn, tariffs. Speaking of gold, we're all buying it right now because the stock market sucks. What are your thoughts on the tariffs?
I'm so sick of talking about the tariffs. Is it just me?
Me too.
I refuse to get upset about this. Don't look at your 401k. Just don't look at it. Don't sell anything and don't withdraw anything right now. Just wait it out. Wait for the market volatility to settle, which it will. Take a deep breath. And I really feel like just give Trump a chance. You know, the main people complaining about what's happening right now are rich media types who are watching their own very lucrative stock portfolios. Well, this wasn't done for them. Not everything Trump is going to do will be for them. This is an attempt to restore some possibility for the bottom half when it comes to the earners. And I think those who are in the top half should maybe just be a little quieter while we see whether this can work, while we see whether there really is a chance to bring back manufacturing to the United States or to reorder this globalized world situation that has not been working very well for the guys who built this country. So I don't think in any world does Trump let this thing go into a recession and let the pain be felt up and down the economic line for very long. He's too much of a politician for that. He loves to be loved, and he loves rich people. So he's not going to let those people suffer for that long. But just be quiet for a little bit and let the people who are at the bottom half of the economic ladder have a shot at a life that used to be the norm here in America. That's what he's doing.
I'll say this about rich people. They always have good seats to the game. You always want to be friends with some rich people because they always have some kind of choice luxury box
True.
or something like that. If you butter them up,
I know a couple of those people, and the
Megyn
luxury
Kelly
box
invite.
is a good thing.
It is. All right, Megyn. Brooke Rollins was on with Jake Tapper, and she kind of dunked on him. It was hilarious. Here it was.
You've got 2 days of data. Everyone, especially on your side, on the left, is freaking out.
I'm not on the left.
But at the end of the day, listen, this whole concept. All right, Jake, thank you.
Megyn, why do they have to do this? What is it about this? Everybody with 2 eyes and 2 ears knows that Jake Tapper is on the left. Is there really a market for someone on the left who pretends to not be?
I think, I don't actually know what his political positions are, but there's no question he can't stand Trump. No question. And so, I think that's what Brooke is picking up on, right? It's like, you obviously can't stand the president. I work for the president, and you're coming at me with your questions from a place of not being able to stand President Trump. And this is like the discussion I had with the New York Times a week ago. I went into the buildings there, Jesse, sat down in the belly of the beast. And I was trying to say, like, if the Times would just own its bias, it would really go a long way toward defanging some of us on the right in the many, many attacks we launch on you. If you would just be honest about your bias, you don't have to be so defensive about it. You know, this is what I was saying to this woman, Lulu Garcia Navarro, at the Times and about the Times. And I really think this is true for most journalists. In Jake's, in his case, he should have said exactly where he is. He should have said, like, that was an opportunity. If he wants to come out with, I'm not actually a leftist, that's great. I'm open-minded. Where do you stand? That's what also needs to happen in order for people to actually start trusting you and your opinions.
Megyn, you always seem to get your hands on some good, juicy exclusives. Let's talk about the manifesto, the Nashville manifesto. Everyone remembers that terrible school shooting with that tranny shooter, and it was bad. Well, the FBI tried to hide it. You got your hands on it. What happened?
Yeah. Biden's FBI tried to hide it and did hide it. And the Nashville police were keeping it behind, locked doors. And it wasn't until Trump and Kash Patel got in charge and took over the FBI that they finally made sure it got out there. And, they gave us permission to reveal that they're the ones who gave it to us, the FBI. And so we have it, and we went through it, and it's 1,000+ pages, and it's deeply disturbing. And there's no reason for any of us to spend a lot of time thinking about what this sick woman was thinking. But we have to spend just some time, because there's a reason they hid it from us for 2 years. There is a reason. The little that they reported out last week, the Nashville police, was a 48-page document that basically excused the whole gender thing as a non-factor. This wasn't what caused it. And put almost nothing, literally one paragraph of a nothing burger in there when it comes to this woman, Audrey. I'm not going to say her last name. I'm just saying it because you need to know about the trans thing. And gender, one paragraph. Well, we looked through all 1,100 pages or so. She was obsessed, Jesse, obsessed with the gender thing. And not just the gender thing. But I mean like page after page on the gender stuff. Like, this was not a one-off. This is not just like, maybe I'll try he, him. No, she was deeply disturbed and angry over the fact that she didn't know more about the trans options when she was younger, and people were calling her she and her instead of he and him and so on. But it was, on top of that, like a syllabus of information that you would get at Brown University or Harvard or any of these leftist universities right now, Jesse, on how much she hates America, how evil America is, how terrible it is present day to Black and brown people, how she hates being white. Whites ruin everything. She's obsessed with race. She's obsessed with gender. She absolutely loathes the country. And to me, it became very clear, reading page after page, why they wanted to hide this, because this is their agenda. This is all the stuff they tout, shoved down the throats of our children, trying to tell us that this is what you have to study and believe to be kind. And this woman's so-called manifesto, whatever you want to call it, it's multiple pages and multiple documents, just puts the lie to that being any sort of force for good.
Megyn, honestly, maybe the sickest part of this whole thing is that the FBI hid it. And look, I like Kash. I'm a fan and, frankly, a friend of Dan Bongino. So this is not about those two guys. But, Megyn, you tell me the federal law enforcement arm of the United States of America spent 3 years burying a manifesto because it might make tranny people look bad. Megyn, I tell you, that's an organization that doesn't need a little nip here and a little tuck there. That's an organization that cannot be saved. What do you say?
I agree with the words you just spoke. It's sick. I don't know how many school shootings I've covered since I became a reporter, Jesse. I was on campus at Virginia Tech when that happened, and I was a very new reporter, still living in D.C. I've gone through a lot of these. I don't remember one where they wouldn't give us the so-called manifesto. And all along, we've been wondering, like, what the hell's in this document that it's, we can't see it? This is the one that we can't see. No, there's nothing so uniquely disturbing. They're all deeply disturbing. They all talk about, the worst of the worst things they want to do. What's different about this one is every left-wing ideology is touted, embraced, espoused. She's taken it to heart. And, Nashville, Petey, Nashville's Democrat. Nashville went for Kamala. Just because it's in Tennessee doesn't mean it's right-wing. And so I really think this is a leftist town under a leftist government, and the same for the FBI for its tenure over the recent years, that decided their favorite little issues were not going to take a beating once this thing came out. And so they already got their wish in large part by making it drag for 2 years. Steven Crowder, to his credit, got his hands on 3 pages of it. That was helpful. But they didn't want us to see it. And enough time has passed now that the attention on it will be diminished. So they've won in part. But you're right. As far as the FBI itself goes, I think we're going to have to go down to the studs to get anything that comes close to being useful.
Megyn, thank you for everything. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.